Welcome to Team Rocket Garage. Today I've got my beloved 1979 Ford Mustang that I built with my own two hands, but I took a shortcut and put a used motor in that bad girl. $425 doesn't get you much these days, but it did get me a running 2001 Ford Explorer engine, which everybody refers to as the GT40 or the iron-headed Cobra motor. Stabbed cam in there and made over 290 wheel horsepower. Shortly after, we lost oil pressure, and the rest is history. I put a new engine in there. I've got a video about that I'll put in the description below, but today we need to find out what happened to that old 2001 5.0. So, without further ado, I'm gonna show you what actually happened.
I built it! Hit the subscribe button!
This is the Explorer motor that I bought from eBay many years ago. It's caused me a lot of problems. Specifically, we lost oil pressure and we didn't really know what was going on. But looking back, my hunch is that something's wrong with the camshaft. So maybe there's something else. We're gonna take this all the way apart and find the culprit. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start tearing this bad girl apart. We're gonna start off by taking the intake off. All right, pop this intake off. Oh, cool. It's crazy how nice those gaskets are because this thing has freaking 12 miles on it. There is some rust right here, which is interesting. I don't know where there'd be rust inside of the engine, but maybe we're gonna find out. Instead of taking each valve out, I wanna leave these heads assembled. So we're just gonna pop the heads off as one unit. All right. Oh. Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's anywhere that was like obviously blown up. I'm not seeing anywhere here. So when I'm looking at this head gasket, I'm looking to see, so these are coolant jackets right here, and coolant runs along the side of the cylinder here. One reason these are so great is because it's not a totally floating one where there's a ring of coolant. So these keep it cool, but what we're looking for is a blow between these cylinders right here or between the coolant, but this looks like it was pretty well sealed up. If it was eating through coolant, it was probably doing it from somewhere else. Maybe the intake gasket was popped or something. Oh wow. Yep. Look at that. This is our intake port right here. And there's a lot of rust in there, so.
I mean, it's even on the top of this one and the bottom of that one.
Oh wow, yeah. Interesting. I wonder if I just didn't seal those. Yeah, well, that would cause us a problem for dang sure. There's coolant inside of a couple of these holes, which means that maybe these holes should have had some sort of thread sealant on them, but they didn't. So, or they did and it didn't work. All right, it's another day and we're here continuing to take this thing apart. Now, it is a little bit rusty. It got rained on. My brother has my engine stand. So, but this is just someone else's core. This engine's probably gonna have to be built 30 over or something in order to be salvaged. So we're just taking this apart just to see what went wrong with. What I want to do now is actually take out the lifters here, and in taking out the lifters, we're gonna be able to pull the cam and see if that's what was actually causing the low oil pressure. That's my suspect. Regardless of whether or not that's the suspect, we're gonna take apart the bottom end and see how the bearings look in the bottom end, maybe even pull the crank out. So let's go. This is the carrier for the lifters. It holds the lifter alignment plates in place. So you can see that this guy's actually under spring pressure, so it's holding the lifters in place. We'll go ahead and put our bolts right back in the spot that they go. Add it to our pile. All right, so now we can pull our lifter plates off here. At this point, we are just looking for metal, see if anything's been annoying. All right, first lifter here. This one looks all right. There's a little scoring on the side of it, so it definitely wasn't getting enough lubrication. All right, well, no crazy damage yet. Let's keep going. Looking for any sort of instance of damage on the cam through here. Oh, there's something on here. We're gonna have to pull this cam out to know, but now we can actually do that. I already took the timing chain off. I gave it to a buddy because it was really low miles. This is our cam retainer plate. Found a little piece of metal. Okay, let's grab this bolt into this camshaft here and start tugging it out. Oh, that was easy. All right, so looking at this camshaft right here, typically you'll see some wear right here or hot spots. So this is that spot right here that I was telling you about that I was feeling. See it right there. This camshaft has some pitting on it, but this is not what I would consider abnormal either. Now, right here, this is a concern spot. There's a lot of stuff on there. And then also right here, on top of that, there's a massive amount of damage on this edge right here. Yeah, you can see kind of right here just how thick this is supposed to be. I believe that's from using an incorrect distributor gear, which was a little out of my control because this had an AutoZone distributor in it, so they must have put the wrong distributor gear on. Yeah, that's definitely damaged. This cam is unusable at this point. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the engine here. Let's find out what happened. Hey, did you know that that town car is supercharged? And I've got a lot of videos about that on my channel. This truck here is also big block swap, fuel injected, automatic swap, and has overdrive, all in a 1977. If you like stuff like that, hit the subscribe button. I want to give you more. Without further ado, I'm gonna give you more. Here's back to the video. Now that we've got the camshaft out, we're gonna rotate this over. If you have any sensitivity to violence, you should probably look away now because we're just gonna slap this over on the concrete. Oh boy, a lot of gross oil in there. Got our oil pump off. It's leaking a bunch of really nasty looking oil, so delicious. So we've got quite a bit of damage in this bearing here. Definitely where some stuff was going on, but I mean, there's a lot of people who would just run this too. If it's not knocking, don't answer the door, you know? Shove this bad girl out of here. Alright, pistons actually look like they're in pretty good shape. Look at that. That is a canyon in there. On the rod side, even worse. Look at that. Oh. I can almost see that with my eye, how deep that is on the edge. That is crazy. This thing might have been knocking and I just didn't hear it, honestly. All right, so looking at the results of what we pulled out here, we've got kind of some obvious things, I feel like, and then kind of some less obvious things. So now these pistons are lined up how they were in the engine. Now all of these are damaged pretty heavily, so we'll just go ahead and pop these off and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now this could very well just be that this engine had a lot of miles on it. It had in the realm of 230, I believe, and that is a lot of miles. So first off, we've got this and this. So these have heavy damage to them and physical, not worn out, but like something actually came through and destroyed these. So I don't know if we got some dirt in our oil or the engine was just disgusting, but these are destroyed. And if you actually look at the bearing in the rod itself, honestly, kind of pretty. but that's destroyed. Very, very, very destroyed. The other one, yeah, it's about the same. Now, these middle ones, this guy, not a ton of damage. This guy, I mean, it's damaged, and then you start getting kind of to the outside, and then these ones are damaged. So it's these two right here, they're the least damaged. And then we get down to the end cap on this guy. I mean, bad, but not too terribly disgusting. And then we get this guy. Oh, sorry, the clouds just came over and that screwed my white balance up. Yeah, got some hot spots there. I really wish that there was something that would tell me like, hey man, you destroyed this or something like that. But one thing I'm also noticing is the color of the wrist pins, a little bit darker there. So I wonder if those were just getting hot or something. Cool, time to pull a crankshaft out and see how that goes. Oh, yeah, there we go. All right. There we go. Oh, all the way worn out, you know? It's just ready for a rebuild, you know? What actually happened? Well, the distributor gear right here was too much for this camshaft. This camshaft turned into a little bit of glitter. In fact, everything over here on the camshaft is actually still totally fine, but right here, these little grooves, that's the distributor gear eating the cam alive. To give you an idea of how important this actually is, this camshaft has maybe 50 miles on it, and that's what it looks like. Absolutely crazy how disgusting that is. And all of the, we'll call it shrapnel, that comes off of that, it gets circulated all the way through the engine, and eventually the oil filter just can't filter it out anymore. And that leads to things like that. The true unfortunate thing here is that this engine might have actually had some life left in it. And the sad story is that camshaft gear and the distributor gear over here, they just did not work well together, and that's why you need to have parts that mesh well. I didn't know that, and I certainly paid the price. Thanks for watching this episode of Team Rocket Garage. I'll see you next time.